welcome to Elstrom Stadium here in Geneva. Today, the Tigers are in the state semifinals after yesterday's win against Oak Park River Forest in thumping fashion, 14-4, where they wrapped out 18 hits and tied a state record with 4 home runs. And John, today they're taking on Chicago Simeon, a team that is 34-7. They won yesterday against Olney East Richland 10-0. They had 13 hits. They committed 1 error. But when we look at the hitting of the Wolverines, what do we see?
It wasn't real solid performance hitting. She said they had 13 hits, but a lot of them the infield variety, bloop singles here and there, and really just impresses as a good hitting solid ball club. So we think the Tigers should have an advantage there. And if Hampson's on today, might have a somewhat of an easy victory today, we hope.
And Chicago Simeon, a team with some speed as well, and we talked about Hampson. He started yesterday. He went 2 innings. He really struggled with his control. He walked 3 batters, but he struck out 4. He's got that great pickoff move. Hopefully that will nullify the speed of the Wolverines. The Tigers are here after wins against Granite City 7-1 over Triad in the regional final 4-0. They defeated Belleville East 13-3 and Cowansville in the sectional finals to get to state 9-1, and again against Oak Park River Forest yesterday 14-4. Chicago Simeon defeated Chicago Morgan Park 11-1 in the regional against Chicago Vocational 17-3 in 5 innings against Chicago Clemente in their finals that allowed them to come here 3-2 on an inside the park home run in the 11th inning. And yesterday that 10-0 win against Olney East Richland. And now let's get to the pitchers. We talked about Justin Hampson as well as the pitcher for Chicago Simeon.
Willie Harrison, and unfortunately we don't have any stats, just a little information watching him warm up. He has very nice breaking ball, throws a couple different ones. He'll throw a hard breaking ball, and then he'll have the kind of almost a floating one that if Edwardsville can see it coming and stay on it, they might be able to hit it. Throws semi-hard, just a sophomore as well, so we'll have to see how he acts in the pressure. Probably one of the biggest games of his career thus far. And for the Tigers, of course, Justin Hampson did not fare very well yesterday. We'll have to wait to see how his control is today, as well as if he's going to get that outside call, as he did not get yesterday. But Hampson's record is 6-0 on the year, 54 2/3 innings pitched, 33 hits allowed, 64 strikeouts, 24 base on balls, and that was one stat that hurt him as well yesterday, the base on balls. And 13 games started, 1.68 ERA.
He raised that up from 1.20 yesterday. He gave up all 4 runs that the Huskies had against the Tigers. The Tigers ranked #1 out of Collegiate Baseball Magazine from Tucson, Arizona, #6 by USA Today out of Arlington, Virginia. The winner of this game goes to tonight's 7 o'clock state championship game against either Tinley Park Andrew. They're 34-3 after a 7-1 win against Ottawa yesterday, or against Barrington. They're 33-8, and they defeated yesterday 4-1, and I forget who they played.
Lockport
yesterday, the #2 team in Chicago. Barrington #4, Tinley Park #3, and a good played ball game. That's going to be 2 good teams here in the next semifinal. We'll hope to see the Tigers there in that one. As far as I'm concerned, John, they have the easiest draw in this semifinal bracket, and they beat the top team yesterday.
You said there was that last game between Lockport and Barrington was a good game last night, probably the closest one of the tournament, 4-1, but it was a well-played game. Neither team really outplayed one another, just a big second inning by Barrington scoring 3 runs pretty much made the difference in that one. But as well, Tinley Park, a well team too, so once again they should have a solid semifinals game coming up here at 11 o'clock.
I think Tinley Park Andrew ended up with 11 hits in their win. Tigers not going against the ace of the Wolverines. He's the 3rd batter in the lineup, and right away we'll get to the Chicago Simeon batting order. Dennis Butler with some speed starts at shortstop. Gerald Brock, the 3rd baseman, in the 2nd spot. Justin Turner, designated hitter, in the 3-hole. Anthony Brewer, the center fielder, hits cleanup. Demetrius Lott is the catcher, fouled by David Blackman in left. The 7th hitter is Lawrence Matthews, the 1st baseman. Michael Morris in 2nd base, and Alan Raspberry in right field. The first pitch from Hampson, a fastball right down the middle for strike 1. Tigers same lineup as usual. We'll get to that as the top of the first progresses. Hampson wasting no time on the 0-1. He kicks, fires, off speed, swung, and missed. And so far, John, after 2 pitches, he's coming after the hitters and seems to be more in control. Butler, right-handed batter. Behind, 0-2, off speed and high, or rather that was the fastball from Hampson. His infield of Evers at first, Honiger at second, Opal at short, Bogle at third. The outfield, Seibert, Carruthers, and Kuba. The off-speed outside changeup there, Smith the count. Even up 2 balls, 2 strikes. The battery today of James Hutton and Justin Hampson, the lefty, on the hill. 2-2 on the way from Hampson down the middle for strike 3, and Butler takes the heater, and he seems to have more speed to that fastball today as well, and that's been the case of Hampson. He threw 3 consecutive one-hitters, and then the last game in the sectional, he really got hit hard against Belleville East.
Mike Waldo was down there closely watching Hampson during his warm-ups, and I'm sure that's one thing he was telling him, just come after these guys and throw strikes, and that's one thing, unfortunately, he couldn't find the plate yesterday. Looks much better today.
Much better so far. Butler is out. This brings up Gerald Brock, third baseman. The count 1-1. Brock was 1 for 4 yesterday. Butler, by the way, stole a base. He was 2 for 3. Good to keep him off the base pass. On deck then Justin Turner, who was 2 for 3 yesterday. Off-speed pitch loop to Bogle at third for out number 2. And there's the looping style hits that we were talking about before this game.
That was the one that seemed to be dropping for him. Plus, I don't know if he mentioned it, but 4 errors committed by Olney yesterday as well, and route to the 10-0 victory that Simeon had.
Unfortunately, if the Tigers can win this game, we will not be able to cover the state championship game at 7 o'clock, but that will be played in the Edwardsville area. Off-speed to Turner for strike 1.
Fox Sports Chicago, I believe, is up here covering the championship game.
The 0-1. In there, a fastball on the corner for strike 1, and the home plate umpire this game, a more liberal strike zone, or Hampson is just hitting that zone somewhat more. The 0-2 to Turner, off speed and high. On deck, the cleanup hitter, center fielder Anthony Brewer, who was 1 for 3 yesterday, also with some speed. The 1-2, swung and missed for strikeout number 2 for Justin Hampson. 3 up, 3 down, top of the first. Tigers coming to bat here in the bottom of the first. Only the second time in the playoffs that the Tigers are the home team through the regional in the first round of the sectional. In the semis, they were visitors before finally against Collinsville being the home team. Yesterday, they were the visitors against Oak Park River Forest. The Tigers start off their lineup with Dave Carruthers out in center. Matt Bogle is the third baseman. Chad Opal at short, fouled by Nick Seibert in left field. Matt Evers with that big grand slam home run that changed the complexion of the game at first base. He hit it in the 5th inning. It gave the Tigers the 6-4 lead. James Hutton, the 6th hitter, is the catcher. He hit a solo homer, his first of the year yesterday. Matt Turner, the designated hitter, hitting for Hampson. Andrew Honiger, 2 for 4 yesterday at second. Corey Kuba, who hit his 5th home run in the number 9 slot, out in right field. The Tigers hit 4 home runs yesterday. Matt Bogle, the other Tiger that hit that home run.
Well, it's be interesting to see how the sophomore for Simeon performs here, especially after seeing a dominating performance in the first inning. His team shut down 1-2-3. Just a little interesting note. Against only the Simeon Wolverines were not retired 1-2-3 throughout the entire 5 innings.
They were on base and they were wreaking havoc in that game. And in the second inning, they scored 6 runs after being up 1-0 after 1. And the Tigers, being the only East Richland Tigers, were just throwing the ball around all over the place in that second inning.
And the one thing people bring up when they talk about Simeon is the team speed overall, and they are quick, but you keep them off base, that is not going to affect you. And that's exactly what Hampson did that first inning. 2 strikeouts. He looked tough.
Certainly did, and it's the top 3 for the Tigers. Carruthers, Bogle, and Opal here in the bottom of the first. All 3 for 5 yesterday. Carruthers' big triple in that 5th inning also got things started over the head of the center fielder. The wind not as big of a factor today. The infield for Chicago Simeon. Lawrence Matthews at first, Michael Morris at second, Dennis Butler, who led off the game, at short, Gerald Brock at third, David Blackman out in left, Anthony Brewer roam center field. Alan Raspberry out in right. The battery of Demetrius Lott behind the plate, and Willie Harrison, the sophomore pitcher, on the hill, and already a conference.
I believe I've seen Butler go out and talk to the home plate umpire. They're talking about, I believe Harrison has something hanging off of his sleeve that the Tigers do not like. Of course, pitchers are not allowed to have any extra, like most of the players are wearing yellow shirts that stick out from their gray uniform sleeves. The pitcher is not allowed to have any sleeves sticking out. So Butler made a point to tell the ump that. Just so it might be a little distraction for some hitters.
So waiting the first pitch from Harrison. Carruthers hitting .492 throughout the course of the year. 1 home run, 23 RBIs, batting .600 in the playoffs with 3 RBIs. He has doubled twice and tripled yesterday. The first pitch from Harrison on the way. Fastball grounded left side and foul, and Carruthers wasting no time, being very aggressive at the plate. That's the key in the playoffs this year compared to the last 2 years. Tigers all righties at the plate. The 0-1 off speed and high for ball 1, and you saw Willie Harrison leave that one hanging. That'll be something that he will not be able to do throughout the course of the game. Another off-speed pitch outside. The count 2 balls, 1 strike.
You said watching him warm up, he was throwing a lot of breaking balls, and most of them were going into dirt. Now they're hanging high.
Grounded left side. That's going to drift off the ground foul. Brock playing on the grass over at third. Would have been a tough play there for the Simeon third baseman. He backs up now, even with the bag, and even a couple steps now behind third. With the count at 2-2. Harrison off speed. Carruthers loops it off, foul right side. A lot of souvenirs, which we learned yesterday, that the fans can keep if they're in the stands.
I wanted one. I didn't get one.
The 2-2 again to Carruthers. He pops it up into center field. Anthony Brewer, all right there. He's calling for it. Now he drifts on in, and he takes care of Dave Carruthers. He started off yesterday's game with the single, but was later stranded at third.
And once again, that was talking about the bread and butter pitch for Harrison today is going to be that breaking ball. And that time, Carruthers really, his first look at Harrison, just got under it a bit as he skied it into center field.
We both thought that was the key. The first time, the Tigers may be shaky through the lineup here against a breaking ball pitcher, but the second time, they may be able to get to the sophomore. The first pitch, off speed again in the dirt. They wrapped out against the fastballs yesterday that Oak Park River Forest threw at them, and they threw 1, 2, and 3 all, probably even the 4th starter. That pitch for the Huskies, and they hit all 4 of them rather hard. Bogle on the year hitting .330 as he's jumped up his average, hitting .556 in the playoffs with 5 RBIs, a home run, and a double. The 1-0, fastball high for ball 2.
Harrison will throw that fastball every once in a while, but you'll watch a majority of them will be the off-speed breaking ball. He does have a hard slider as well.
Fastball grounded off the left side, jammed the Edwardsville third baseman, as Pyle right before that pitch was telling the dugout and the players to be relaxed here. They're a little too aggressive today. On the 2-1, here it comes off the line, off speed, and that's looped into left field. Into left center, the center fielder, Brewer, says he has it. He's there. 2 down here. So good pitching performance so far for both ball clubs here with 2 out in the bottom of the first.
So again, they're seeing the breaking ball and they're reacting to it, but it's just getting under it a bit. Once they go around through their batting order once, they're going to be more expecting that pitch, and then they might be able to get something more on it.
They need to just keep hitting the ball hard. Both cuts were like home run cuts from Carruthers and Bogle. Maybe yesterday's 4 home runs, not a good omen. You know, just go back to the basics that they've done all year. It's just been recently, really, that the power of the Tigers has emerged as Opal takes a fastball high. On the 1-0 from Harrison. Fastball drilled into center field. Brewer going back, still going back. He's there. The ball not carrying like it did yesterday, although that one not hit quite as hard as Opal had to reach out for. But Brewer records all 3 outs, and we have a perfect first inning from both pitchers. We're through 1 here at Elstrom Stadium. No score as the Chicago Simeon Wolverines will come to bat here in the second. You're watching Tiger Baseball in sectional semifinal, or rather state semifinal action on ECTV Channel 6. In the top of the second, Brewer was just taken care of on a lazy fly ball out to right that Corey Kuba caught. That brings up Demetrius Lott, the catcher, hitting in the 5th spot, followed by David Blackman in the left fielder here with 1 out. Lott as well as Blackman, both 2 for 3 yesterday. Lott scored 2 runs. It's been a pitching duel so far, John.
Yeah, Hampson's looking tough, and Harrison pretty impressive in that first inning as well.
Off speed, just missed high. I think that one may have fooled the home plate umpire as it came over, at least as far as where Hutton caught it, right over the plate. On the 1-0, Hampson off speed, swung and missed, and a terrible swing, something that it looked like the Wolverines have not seen this year, a sharp breaking off speed pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Off the line, Hampson fastball outside corner. And John, you were talking about that on the drive over here today, that Hampson likes to live outside corner. Did not get that pitch called for a strike yesterday, but so far today he is. Fastball outside, grounded over to Evers. He'll take care of a lot unassisted with 2 outs. So Hampson has retired 5 to start this game off.
It's interesting, too, talking about the umpires. We know Hampson struggled yesterday, was having trouble getting the off-speed breaking ball over, and these umpires seen him for the first time. If you start off throwing balls, maybe you're not going to get the borderline call as you would see. This umpire sees him, he's coming out throwing strikes, and now maybe he's going to start getting some of them borderline calls going his way this time.
With 2 out, here's David Blackman. As I mentioned, 2 for 3 yesterday. Off speed, just missed high again. Here at State, the strike zone more low than what it is high. You don't even get the letter call, and sometimes the belt is questionable. On the 1-0, fastball in the inside corner for a strike, and that pitch was not called for a strike yesterday. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hampson is throwing much harder today than what yesterday he was, and fastball outside corner for a strike as he works inside to outside. Will he stay that direction here with 1 and 2? He rocks and fires. Fastball outside corner. Caught looking, David Blackman. 6 retired in a row for Justin Hampson, and the 3rd strikeout here today. And he's not thrown many pitches. After throwing only 2 innings, we may be able to have him throw later tonight. It'll be interesting, John, I think, to see what happens pitching-wise if the Tigers can win this state semifinal game today.
Well, that's the big thing. We were out in the stands for the last 2 games, talked to one of the Edwardsville coaches, and they kind of told us they didn't think maybe Ben Hutton would be able to go tonight. He pitched 4 innings, I believe, yesterday he came in. Or was it 5?
He ended up pitching 5 innings.
5 innings yesterday.
I wouldn't think he threw any more than 50 pitches yesterday. Maybe 60.
But he did pitch 5 innings on Tuesday as well. Unfortunately, that rain out may be hurting the Tigers here for this later game in state now. We'll see what happens. Well, we got to get there first, though. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, we're at least, as far as we've retired 6 in a row, the Tigers have 15 more outs to get as far as defensively, but they have to score some runs. No score here going to the bottom of the second for the heart of the Tigers lineup. In 4, 5, and 6, Nick Seibert, Matt Evers, and James Hutton. Seibert hitting .415 on the year, 7 home runs and 40 RBIs. Raised his average with a good performance yesterday. He was 1 for 2, 357 in the playoffs with 2 RBIs. He also has a double in these playoffs. Let's see if Harrison can keep that composure and look as good as what he did in the bottom of the first. The first pitch to Seibert, fastball high for ball 1. Good Edwardsville crowd here today. On the left side, they're the home team. I would expect, if they win this one, a large contingent of Tiger fans tonight to make this 4-hour trek. Fastball grounded off the end of the bat. Over to Butler on to first. 4 out number 1 here in the bottom of the second.
So both pitchers looking impressive. It looks like we could have a pitcher's duel on our hand. We haven't seen one of those for a while. Coming from Edwardsville's perspective, is their offense have really been taking over games, just pounding the ball all over, especially come playoff time.
Matt Evers broke open the game yesterday in the 5th with the grand slam. Takes the first pitch high for ball 1, hitting .417 on the year now with 6 home runs and 41 RBIs to lead the Tigers with those RBIs. Evers hitting .444 in the playoffs with 8 RBIs and 2 home runs. He takes ball 2. So when do you feel, John, that the Tigers are going to explode? You've been able to pick those out over the last few games.
I still think it's going to come one time through the lineup, as we said. Mainly a breaking ball pitcher. Sometimes it takes you a while to adjust. As you've seen in that first inning, 3 flyouts to the center field, but each one kind of waiting on that breaking ball. It throws you off just for a second, maybe drop the back shoulder just a bit. That's why you fly out.
Count now 3-1 after that last strike, and we will make you accountable for that. After one time through the order, the Tigers will break this one open. Sounds good to me. The 3-1 high for ball 4, and the first base runner of the game. With one out here, that brings up James Hutton, the Edwardsville catcher. Evers very patient at the plate, and for the first time, Harrison looked to give respect to a Tiger batter. And Matt Evers, maybe yesterday's grand slam, Simeon stayed for most of that game, and they were around in the 5th inning. I'm sure he saw that power by Matt Evers. Brings up James Hutton, as I mentioned, hitting .333 in the playoffs with 6 RBIs, 1 homer, 2 doubles, .375 average on the year.
Talking about that grand slam, came on 2 strikes. Normally you'd think protect the plate, and they had to quote in the Chicago Tribune today, Matt Evers talking about it, said, you know, I was just looking for something to hit, and fortunately I got the fastball, he said, and he drove it deep to center field over the wall, and that really was the key in the game for the Tigers yesterday.
They were talking about how patient they were as well, and they knew the fastballs would come, and they sat on them as Hutton shows bunt and takes strike 1. And also a lot of respect by Oak Park River Forest and Jack Kaiser, the head coach, as far as the Chicago media as well. And the Tigers impressed with the power that they have and the good hitting at bats. I know when you get a team from down south, sometimes they're not so sure. As Hutton takes ball 1, it's 1-1, and they talked about them being like LSU from the College World Series, where they played long ball and they called it gorilla ball down there. The Tigers played that way today with the aid of some wind. The 1-1 off the stretch, and Harrison goes back to first.
And driving up here, I was on the internet looking at some articles from the Tribune and talking about how Oak Park was favored to win their state title. She said maybe not some respect that Edwardsville deserves, but Oak Park certainly knows it now.
And that's exactly what some of the players, as Blake Wheely, the star for the Huskies, was talking about how impressed he was. He said he's never seen a team hit their pitchers like the Tigers did yesterday. He said the best hitting team he's seen in high school. As Hutton listed in the left center, Brewer coming on, Butler going back, and he makes a great over-the-shoulder catch and throws to first. Some defense played by the Wolverines here. Center fielder made a long run and got there. Same with Butler, the shortstop, here with 2 out. That brings up the designated hitter, Matt Turner. Turner hitting .302 on the year with 2 home runs, 23 RBIs, just hitting .154 here in the playoffs with 3 ribbies.
Butler, a good shortstop, was on the Chicago All-State special mention team for shortstop, so you can see why they're a really good defensive shortstop.
Blocked by Demetrius Lott, the catcher. Fundamental baseball so far by the Wolverines in the 2nd inning. At least we're through this far. Evers on the year has stolen 11 bases. The Tigers has not shown so far their speed up at state. Evers at first, and Turner takes a strike. Count 1-1. On deck, then, the Edwardsville second baseman, Andrew Honiger, who at one point yesterday was 2 for 2, ended up 2 for 4. Evers, good lead at first, not going. Turner takes it low for ball 2. Another breaking pitch from Harrison. Cloudy day here at Elfstrom Stadium. We woke up and the sun was shining. Turner hits it into left. Going back, Blackman. He's there for out number 3. The Tigers have been fooled so far, John, by these breaking pitches through two. They've lofted a lot of fly balls. Hopefully they can stay on the breaking pitches and wrap some solid hits, at least take the ball the other way. We're through two here in Geneva in the state semifinals. No score between Edwardsville and Chicago Simeon. You're watching Tiger Baseball on ECTV Channel 6. In the top of the third, no score between Edwardsville and Chicago Simeon. Hampson's first pitch swung and missed by Lawrence Matthews. They have the bottom of the order after Matthews, Morris, and Raspberry. Matthews, the first baseman, was 1 for 3 yesterday with an RBI, and he scored a run. Swung and fouls it off right off the end of the bat. And John, so far the Wolverines have not figured out Justin Hampson, who's throwing strikes today.
Yep, already 2 strikeouts as well. 3, excuse me, 2 in the first inning, 1 last inning, and you said they haven't looked good yet.
As he fouls off an inside slider.
And he's done it on not many pitches either, so
nice
that's
to see. Real nice to see, and we'll figure out tonight at some point if the Tigers can win this one. In question here, no score in the second. Fastball outside as Hutton tried to frame it, but it was way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes, but even if it's a third place game, it'll be interesting to see who the Tigers do throw later on. Changeup missed outside and high. Vogel behind the bag at third, as well as Evers at first. Cybert shallow and left on the 2-2. Swung and missed. Fastball inside that Matthews chased. That's strikeout number 4 for the Edwardsville lefty. Brings up the second baseman, Michael Morris. Morris, 2 for 2 yesterday. He scored 2 runs and an RBI from the 8th slot and the Wolverine lineup.
And just quickly glancing back in the 2 innings Hampson threw yesterday, 23 balls he threw in those 2 innings. I mean, just talking balls as in called balls, and are only like 5 so far in the first 2 2/3 now.
As you saw, Honegger took care of the fly ball by Morris, 2 out. As now, Hampson has retired 8 in a row to start the ball game. This brings up Alan Raspberry, the right fielder. He walked yesterday, his only at-bat, as he played for Christopher Anderson. Anderson pulled a hamstring in about the 4th inning yesterday. He had the first 2 at-bats for the Wolverines. He also had walked. Takes strike 1. Unfortunate to play the course of the year in the outfield like Anderson did and then pull a hamstring in the quarterfinals. Outside fastball just missed low. Home plate umpire stuttered with the right arm. On the 1-1, off the line, Hampson brings it, swung and missed, and slider again. That is sliding over the middle of the plate and then in on the hands, and they're swinging right through it. 1 ball, 2 strikes as he rocks and fires. Here it comes, swung and missed, same pitch, same spot. 2 strikeouts in the inning, the 5th for Justin Hampson, who has thrown 1 time through the Wolverine lineup. He's been perfect.
And she said the main key here, Todd, he's able to work inside out. He wasn't getting that outside call yesterday, so a lot of it was inside. He tried to go more with the off-speed pitch, couldn't get that over. He left it on the inside, middle of the plate was getting hit. When he wasn't walking people, he's really on today so far.
I would assume he throws high 70s, maybe low 90s, or low 80s rather, Justin Hampson, but he's heating it up today compared to yesterday. I think he's more relaxed. And we're going to the bottom of the 3rd now. No score between Edwardsville and Chicago Simeon. A slight surprise to me, especially only 1 base runner so far for the Tigers through their 2 innings at the plate. They have up 8, 9, and 1. Honegger, Kuba back to the top of the order, and Dave Carruthers, the only base runner, a walk. Matt Evers, after wrapping 18 hits yesterday, they have none through 2 today.
And I'm still sticking by, once the Tigers get through one time around, they've all got a chance to see them. There are some really solid hitters on there. Opal's one guy I know really good hitting that breaking ball. He flew it out. Plus, a lot of 5 fly ball out, so it's not like the Tigers are being fooled. It's just like the just missing on that breaking ball. When they're more patient with it after they've seen it the second time around, I think they should hit it a little bit harder.
One key we were talking about between last inning was the Tigers don't strike out very often. Every time you put the ball in play and you then eventually hit the ball hard at times, you're going to have those fall. And that's these Tigers' 9 batters. More and more Edwardsville Tiger fans are arriving here, also at Elfstrom Stadium, hopefully awaiting a state championship game tonight. The first pitch to Honegger is high for a ball, and Harrison has fallen behind, at least with that first pitch, the Tigers so far. Outfield for the most part straight away, as the jersey of Willie Harrison on the mound has come loose on the front. And for a sophomore, he's thrown well here in the semifinal game.
You talked about not striking out. That was one key we brought up in yesterday's victory over Oak Park. After those 4 innings, when it was 4-1, we said, hey, they're not striking out, they're making contact, good things are going to happen. And eventually, 5th, 6th, and 7th inning, they did.
Count now 1 ball, 1 strike. Honegger back in the box, and his hits yesterday, both solid ones, up the middle. Off speed, missed high. And Harrison throws that semi-curveball slider with the slurve. I would assume from up here that looks to be more of a slider than a curveball. Brock on the grass at third. On the 2-1, Honegger fouls it right off the end of the bat. And the Tigers have been out in front of Harrison so far.
On that one before that, the high breaking ball slider that he missed, I seen just for a moment, Honegger kind of shuffled his feet in the box, so they still aren't getting a great look at it yet.
Check swing foul ball. Honegger has some life here with the count 2 balls, 2 strikes. Honegger hitting .328 on the year, 10 RBIs, .417 in the playoffs. It's .335 down the line here at Elfstrom Stadium in right and left, .375 to the power alleys, and .400 in straightaway center. On the 2-2, he takes a fastball high for ball 3. Morris deep on the grass at second base, but the 8th place hitter in the Tiger lineup. They give him the middle, where he likes to hit, the 3-2. Down the middle, pops it up right side. Matthews near the fence. He's there, he has some room, and now it hits in play, and that tarp out there, I think, confused him. I'm sure most of these high school players aren't used to a tarp near the field, and it also fell behind him.
It went right up where the railing and a tarp just about meet, and I think he thought it was going in the stands and gave up perhaps a little too soon. Normally like to see him go all the way to the wall, and you're right, I think that tarp kind of messed him up a bit.
So he has some more life on the 3-2. Let's get something going. And he's there with nobody out. And he walks. Second base runner for the Tigers. Here's Corey Kuba. Maybe a bunt situation here with the best bunter on the Tigers team, Corey Kuba. Very smooth, fundamentally. Bunting the baseball. Hit a home run yesterday, not a bad luxury. He's got 5 on the year.
This guy's the best bunter and also starting to show some power in these state playoffs.
Shows bunt, pulls it back, takes a strike. Honegger has to hustle back to first, and he makes it back. Kuba, 6 RBIs, 2 home runs, 1 double in the playoffs, hitting .214, but that's an odd-looking .214. He hit 3 solid line drives right at the center fielder. And the regional, as well as hitting the ball hard, as Kuba bunts it foul right side. The last 2 times I've said that about the Edwardsville right fielder, he's missed the bunts.
I was going to say he had a little trouble on the bunt yesterday as well, did not get one down. Maybe he thinks he's a power hitter now.
You never know. The Tigers' top of the order was swinging harder today, at least as far as not having the fundamentals that they have in games past. Honegger has just stolen 6 bases on the year with nobody out. He's at first. On deck then, top the Tiger lineup, and Dave Carruthers, he flew out to center his first time up. That's not a bad omen either. Carruthers is known to get out the first time and then get 2 or 3 hits in a row.
Check the flags. The wind is not blowing out quite as much today as it was. In fact, the lower one is not even barely blowing at all, and just a bit left to right. Nowhere near as strong as yesterday's wind.
Harris going over a lot the first. Honegger very tiny at 5'8", about 140 pounds, but not a lot of speed. Sure, Harrison does not realize that. No balls, 2 strikes to Kuba. The pitch high for ball 1, fastball from the Wolverine sophomore. Brock still on the grass at third. Outfield about average depth straight away for number 9 in the Tigers order. Here comes the 1-2. In there for strike 3 as Corey Kuba goes down looking. 1 out now for the top of the Tiger lineup in Dave Carruthers. Carruthers 12 for 21 in the playoffs. Hitting just around 490 on the year. Big, lanky center fielder. I would assume now they'll be hitting away. Missed execution for the Tigers here in the bottom of the third. We have no score, no hits in the game. Just 2 base runners. Both have been Tigers. On the 1-0, off the stretch, goes to first. Now the game here in the third has started to slow down a bit.
The Tigers as a team normally, if you look up and down, they like to run a lot, and I'm sure Simeon, looking at the stats, saying keep these runners close. But really, as you said, Todd and State, we haven't really seen it as much.
And all the bats for the Tigers so far have been too quick. Way out in front of Harrison, and Carruthers that last swing pulled his head towards third, and the bat just barely caught a part of the ball because he couldn't reach it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Harrison set at the belt, kicks and pitches. Swings a ground ball to Butler. That's a double play ball. He bobbles it, only play to first, and that's not in time. The first error of the game is Honegger trying to go to third. Lott with a strong arm. The throw beats him. Honegger's gunned at third. I was talking about how Demetrius Lott had a cannon in the warm-ups. He showed it there.
Good job by Lott. Give credit. That's catcher's job to get down there, but he really got down that line quickly. Not only him being down there, but as you said, a strong arm, but just being able to get down there in time to block that ball. Once you get past the first baseman, I'm sure Honegger down there was thinking, you know, I got this one. Probably not realizing that Lott was down there, and great gun over there and plenty of time to get Honegger.
Athletic catcher is Demetrius Lott. Wears number 44, 6'1" junior. A luxury for the Wolverines, and an inning that could have been terrible for them has turned out to be, right now at least, okay, with the runner at first and 2 out for Matt Bogle. Bogle also flew out to center, as well as the on-deck hitter Chad Open. Edwardsville junior third baseman takes strike 1. It's 11 for 21 here in the playoffs with a home run, 2 doubles.
Coach Pyle is over there, Todd Pyle, I just seen over there motioning the Bogle, saying keep the hands up, or kind of dropping their hands a bit on seeing that breaking ball, and Pyle's just saying, hey, come on guys, keep your hands up.
Stay on top of it and just cut and take a, when you say chopping wood type cut where you're swinging down on the breaking pitch a little bit. He takes a ball, it's 2-1. 5 RBIs for Bogle, and he's actually 10 of 19 now in the playoffs with a homer and 1 double. Good chance to keep this inning going with Opal on deck. Tigers bat's not as much alive as Carruthers tries to steal second. The throw beats him and he guns him. A tag, right, I guess, on the back of Carruthers. He had stolen 13 bases and Lott gunned him. The Tigers run out. Here in the third, we're through 3 at Elstrom Stadium. No score, no hits in the ballgame. We'll come back for the top of the 4th here in the state semifinals. You're watching Tiger Baseball on ECTV, Channel 6. Back for the top of the 4th, the top of the lineup for Chicago Simeon. For the play-by-play, here's John.
Thank you, Todd, and we are rolling right along. This game not even an hour old yet, as you said, in the top of the 4th inning. Justin Hampson back to work. One of the big reasons why we're moving right along. He's been perfect through 3. His first pitch looked like it was there, just missed a bit, and that is ball 1 to the leadoff batter, the shortstop, Dennis Butler.
Struck out looking the first time, a key to keep him off the base path.
The next one is way out in front is Butler. Looked bad on that one with the off-speed changeup, and that is a good indication right there that Justin Hampson is on today. 1-1 pitch now, quickly Hampson works inside, missed is a check swing by Butler.
You had a chance to look. Hutton there left the glove up with the ball in it, giving the home plate umpire a good chance to see where the ball was thrown.
And again, in off-speed, this one's left high a bit, and 3-1 now, and he's in danger of walking the leadoff hitter, and probably one of the fastest players on this Simeon team. Got to keep him on base, challenge him here, and a bouncer right back to Hampson. Throws the glove up, snags it, and over to first for the out, first out of the inning.
Big out at that on the 3-1. A ball that if I'm Butler, I'm not going to really take a swing at, because he looped it, and it would have been a tough play for Opal to come running and throw out a speedy Butler. But I don't think that would have been something that I would have taken that cut at.
Now steps in Gerald Brock, the third baseman. 1 for 4 in yesterday's game with 2 RBIs. 0 for 1 today, of course, and takes the first one right down central.
Hampson now this inning showing more breaking pitches with those changeup. He threw a lot of fastballs in the first time around.
The next one to Brock is swung on, and right on it was Brock, but fouled it back to the screen. 0-2 now on Gerald Brock.
We kept talking about the bats, and yesterday that would usually swung back to the screen would be hard hit. That was kind of looped back to the screen.
Quickly again in a swing, a 2-bouncer, boggled by Bogle, but he picks it up, throws, not in time, and there it is, the speed, and now it looks like Brock came up just a little bit gingerly with the hamstring, but looks like he'll be all right. So uncharacteristic are the Tigers here. First a base running blunder in the last inning, and now Bogle unable to come up with the 2-hopper.
And the one thing that Bogle did poorly there was he wasn't sure. It was one of those in-between hoppers. Should he come and get it before it hit the ground or stay back on it and then use the arm? And he decided to come in between those 2 options, and that cost the error. First Tiger error here at the state tournament. First runner for Simeon.
Indeed, and now Justin Turner, the DH, now back over. They call a balk. There it is. They called a balk on Hampson as he had Gerald Brock picked off. And now the umpire, here it is. He has called a balk. Here comes the Tigers out to argue it. Coach Mike Waldo, the pitching coach, is out to argue with the home plate umpire. Down to second base goes Brock. Excuse me, Todd.
That's quite all right. He had him picked off. I mean, he was out. He was out at first, and all year long that's not been a balk. But here at state, we wondered what would be called as Mike Waldo wants to talk to the umpire, and he doesn't want any part of it. And I think this umpire is not at all going to allow that move by Hampson today. That'll cost the Tigers, because there should be 2 out here with nobody on.
Yeah, we talked about the speed of Simeon, and really Bogle on that last one, he scored an error, but he knocked it down cleanly. Most other runners, I'd say he still had time to throw him out, but the speed of Brock was able to beat that one out. And now here again, you said he had him picked off, and this umpire was emphatic. He said right away, no, that's a balk. And we were wondering about that all along. And yesterday, the 2 innings Hampson was in, he did pick one runner off, did not get called on the balk, but a new crew here today, and that could spell bad news for Hampson.
As far as that pickoff move, as Waldo was telling Justin Hampson to stay focused, get this batter out here with dangerous with Turner at the plate, the best hitter for the Wolverines, a runner in scoring position.
So Brock's at second base now after the balk call on Hampson. No count on Turner, standing in. Pitched the beauty of a game yesterday. We thought maybe he might come back today, but obviously I bet if Simeon somehow did win this game, he would pitch tonight, or most likely pitch in the third place game. Hopefully that's the case.
Exactly. I still don't think Mike Waldo, Edwardsville's pitching coach, agrees with the field umpire over at first.
The first pitch to Turner's roped into left center field, in the gap, getting down to the wall. Brock is around third already. He's scoring. Digging for 2 is Turner. He's rounding 2. He's going to third. Here's the throw from Opal. It is in time, and they got him at third base. But Turner drives in the run, the first run of the game. Simeon leads 1-0, but a big base running mistake, I believe, by Turner.
I agree. Should have stopped at second. The Tigers always hit the cutoff man, but they have the first run of the game, and somewhat of a shock as far as just 1 hit. But errors kill you all the time. Really, that should just be 3 out right there. I would assume Turner probably would have started to go for third anyway, and there should be no score, but the Tigers will have to get their bats alive again. They're going to have to score some runs anyway today.
Anthony Brewer now it's up. He is 0 for 1. Flied out to right field his first time, and first pitch, I believe, was a strike. Here comes the next one. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 now on the batter, Anthony Brewer.
Hampson left that ball hanging to Turner. It was out 7-6-5 on the relay play.
Hampson once again rocks, swing and a miss, strike 3. He makes quick work of that, so he does not let him affect it. His 4th strikeout of the day, and now the Tigers will have to go to work in the bottom of this 4th inning. And here we go, Todd. I said I thought it would take one time through the lineup. Well, they're through the lineup once now, so let's see what the Tigers can do. Coming up in this inning will be Chad Opel. Or no, I believe Matt Bogle will still be at the plate as Carruthers was thrown out. No, yeah,
you're right.
Carruthers was thrown out trying to steal second base in the bottom of the 3rd.
Heart of the order. The Tigers need to get something going. They're 12 outs away. Here down 1-0. And what most people around here would, I think, cause to be a surprise.
Oh, no doubt this would be probably the biggest upset by far in the tournament, more so than Edwardsville upsetting what they call up here an upset of Oak Park. We expected it because that's how we are, but the Tigers going to come up now 2nd time around, talk things out, say let's settle down. And she said Justin Turner, that's their best hitter, so if you can go through the rest of the game with that being the only blemish against you, I still like the Tigers' chances.
Tigers are complacent so far today, not as aggressive, and they need to stay fundamental with that aggression here today. So we're going to the bottom of the 4th, but can you imagine if you're Jack Kaiser and saying, hey, why didn't we see this club?
Well, unfortunately, they ran into what we deem as the Tigers' #1 pitcher, and that's Ben Hutton, who came in and shut down Oak Park.
James Hutton now going to the bullpen for the Tigers.
And here comes Matt Bogle leading it off. He was at the plate when Carruthers was thrown out to end the 3rd inning. He looks at ball 1, sail outside.
Could that make me believe we may, if depending on the outcome of this game, we may see 3 pitchers in the later game that the Tigers play?
Bogle rips one down the line, but it's hooking foul and just missed that one, and that's what we want to see from these Tigers. The 1st inning, 3 fly balls, really not going to do damage. That's how you got to hit them. Stay on top of it, line drives. Just like that. Just put it fair, Matt. It's the next one from Harrison. A breaking ball again. This one dips in the dirt, and it is 2-1 now on Matt Bogle.
Tigers aren't going to run much today on Demetrius Lott, the catcher. He's shown that arm. Already thrown out 2 Tigers, 1 caught stealing, 1 trying to advance on the base path.
Bogle was one of the keys as well. Led off that 5th inning for the Tigers with the home run. That got them rolling in that big 5th inning explosion. 5 runs they scored to take command and go on to win, of course, 14-4 yesterday.
Tigers need a leadoff hit or a leadoff runner.
And there it is, ball 4 to Matt Bogle, low and inside, and you ordered it up, Todd, and there it is, the leadoff walk. And let's hope they can execute better than what they did last time when they got the leadoff walk. It was Cuba unable to get the bunt down, and they wound up not scoring.
I don't expect the bunt here with 3 and 4 in the Tigers lineup, but they need to keep hitting the ball hard. Put some pressure here on the Wolverines. Down 1.
I still expect Opal to sit on one of these Harrison breaking balls. Here's one, and it dips low, and that looked like one that Opal's liking. Kind of jumped a bit at it, but then it dipped low, so good job to lay off of it.
Harrison's control here, even last inning, has started to elude him compared to what he did in the first 2 innings. That's fine with me.
Bogle, 16 stolen bases. See if they want to do some running. They do not, and this one's ripped into left center field. Going back to the track. Finally able to hold it in is Blackman as he falls over to make the catch. And returning to first base is Bogle, and Opal gave it a ride.
I think yesterday that ball may have been out of here. I have this feeling that the wind really aided a lot of the Tigers' hits yesterday. We thought when we saw the wind blowing out that it was going to aid Oak Park River Forest, but I think it really aided the Tigers yesterday, and that's not so the case today. I think we'd have seen some deep balls here by the Tigers this morning.
So now one down. Vogel still at first, and that is the second time now we've seen Edwardsville put their leadoff player on and not at least able to advance the runner with some kind of play. And Vogel that time wasn't aware that Blackman was going to fall down, or he might have been able to tag up. But with nobody out, you're mainly halfway on those.
We may see, I think, James Hutton enter on the hill when we will start the 5th inning. Hampson has thrown a solid game, only gave up 1 hit. The error really cost.
Nick Seibert now is up, 415 on the season, 7 home runs, 40 RBIs for the Tigers. Where's number 24, right-handed batter. Vogel still at first. Now he rips this one. It might get in the gap. Coming over is the center fielder, and he makes a nice running grab. Brewer hauls it in, and that is his 4th putout of the game. And now it is 2 down, and Vogel still at first base.
Much speed in the outfield. Anthony Brewer has come to play today. Some good outfield, as well as David Blackman out in left. They can run. Maybe hit the ball over the infield or through the hole on the infield. They defensively, they're a solid club.
Brewer closed that gap quickly. I thought for sure that ball was going to get down, and Brewer just breezed over there and still had plenty of time by the time he got there to catch it.
Tigers may have to execute with some bunts and things like that here in this one.
So Matt Evers is up as Harrison checks over to first. Now the whole Edwardsville fans are yelling balk.
Hey, that's a key play. That cost him the run.
Harrison just kind of shakes his head at the crowd, smiles a bit, says, yeah, that's a balk. A little bit tougher for a right-hander. I think the balk is, we've seen Hampson. We talked about his move before, so I'm not going to beat it to death, but Harrison, a right-hander, not to say he can't do it, but the crowd's just having a little fun with the umpire, I believe. Vogel takes his lead. It's a short one. Evers grounds one into the dirt, into the third baseman's glove, throws across to Brock, and after they put their leadoff runner on, they go down 1-2-3. And after 4 innings, it is the Chicago Simeon Wolverines leading the Edwardsville Tigers 1-0. The Tigers still without a hit today. And after 4 innings of play, it is Simeon 1, the Tigers nothing. You're watching Tiger Baseball on ECTV, Channel 6. Welcome back to Elstrom Stadium here at the state semifinals games. The Edwardsville Tigers taking on Chicago Simeon, the Wolverines. And so far, a little bit of a shocker, Todd. The Wolverines lead 1-0. Hampson back out on the mound.
We're 9 outs away from ending our at least run to try to go to the state championship game. We're just 1 game away, but we need a couple runs here.
Demetrius Lott, the catcher, will lead it off. He popped out, or excuse me, grounded out to Matt Evers, the first baseman, his first time up. But a good defensive play he's already made as he threw a runner out trying to go to third, and he lines a one-hopper. Good play by Opal. Long throw across, and he's got him. Opal picked up the short hop on a solid line drive by Lott, and threw him out 6-3.
You can't expect any more than that from Demetrius Lott, who's played a solid semifinal game so far, showing the arm and ripping the ball. Opal stayed down on it with it, stayed with it, threw the runner out, and the Tigers need a 1-2-3 inning, get back and hit.
David Blackman, now the left fielder, comes up. He is 0 for 1, caught looking his first time up, and takes an all-speed breaking ball that drops in there for strike 1. So Hampson maybe regained a little bit of his composure after the ball call last inning. He's throwing well once again. Fires again outside corner with the fastball, and a swing and a miss by Blackman.
Against Blackman here, if Hampson lives out there with the fastball, he pulls his left foot towards third, and his whole body goes that direction. He can't reach the fastball.
See if he stays out. He does with an off-speed pitch, and 3 pitches, 3 out, or excuse me, 3 pitches, a strikeout for David Blackman, and 2 are down quickly in this top of the 5th inning. And as you said, he stayed outside. Normally, as we say, Hampson likes to go outside, inside, or inside, outside, and that time he stayed out. He probably seen the same thing you did.
And he went fastball first, then changeup, and that fooled him as well.
Lawrence Matthews now steps in, the right-handed hitting first baseman. He is 0 for 1 as well with the strikeout. He squares the bunt, pulls it back, takes the ball just low. Looks down at his third base coach, trying to get sign, squares around the bunt again, pulls it back, and takes another one low. Two borderline low strikes you talked about yesterday, where you're getting all the low strike calls, and now here 2 in a row that has missed. Now 2-0, no intention on swinging was Matthews, and takes a strike.
And that one was not a strike yesterday, a little above the belt. So a different strike zone here.
Hampson quickly working, fires again, slap to the right side, right at the first baseman, Matt Evers, who steps on the bag, and 1, 2, 3, down goes Simeon in the top of the 5th. Time for the Tigers bats to get to work. Let's hope they didn't use them all up yesterday in that 18-hit performance, 14 runs against Oak Park.
Yeah, it would be great to have the same 5th inning that we had yesterday. That's when we scored those big 6 runs and took control of the game after being down 4-1. Scored a lot of runs that inning, and from that point on went on to win by 10 runs, but 9 outs away from at least ending your perfect season, and no shot at the state championship for the Tigers. They have to get the bats going here, but they got at least 1/2 of that. They got the 1, 2, 3 inning. Maybe they can come back and get some hits.
For the Tigers, James Hutton will lead it off, followed by Matt Turner, Andrew Honiger, Corey Kuba, Dave Carruthers, and Matt Bogle, and hopefully a lot more Tigers will come to bat in this bottom of the 5th inning. It worked for us last time. We wanted 9 men to come to the plate in the 9th inning. We got, or excuse me, the 5th. We got 11, so Butler now is out, kind of checking out the pitcher.
I think today the surprise has been the defense of Chicago Simeon. I did not expect them to be as good as what they are defensively. I knew the hitting was kind of suspect, and they've only had a hit today. The Tigers still without a hit, as Harrison is throwing a no-hitter.
And just a sophomore, too, so wow. And we watched Turner, undoubtedly their best pitcher for Chicago Simeon, throw yesterday, and we were wondering ourselves, you know, are they going to be in trouble? And Harrison's come out and thrown a gem so far.
Well, Hutton scored the first run yesterday with the home run.
Breaking ball inside corner, and he breaks off the hard slider that time. 0-1 to James Hutton, the Edwardsville Tigers catcher. You're right, he started it off with the home run yesterday. Misses outside, 1-1. So Harrison still looking sharp. Tigers without a hit yet. Maybe we can jinx him. A no-hitter for Harrison through 4. Strike 2 on Hutton.
Indecisive there on whether to swing or not. Activity now in the Simeon bullpen.
It's a all-speed breaking ball again, grounded to third. Long throw, high, but out is the big, tall first baseman of the Simeon Wolverines. Matthews came down with it, and the first out is retired. Hutton grounds out to third.
Lawrence Washington, now a bigger player for Simeon, is in the bullpen. Washington 6'1", we have no weight on him. I would say he's probably 190 to 200 pounds. Big boy over there in the bullpen.
Matt Turner is up now, 0 for 1 in the game, flew out to right field back in the 2nd inning. And the outfield has been a key for the Simeon. As you said, a lot of speed out there, and they have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 putouts so far. So the Tigers are hitting the ball. It's just a matter of getting on top of it and hitting solid line drives. And we haven't seen them go up the middle or to right field as much as we have in the earlier games. The next one is outside, and it is 2-1 now to Matt Turner.
Yeah, they're up the middle. We haven't seen any line drives up there, and even to the right side. And a lot of their power this year has been to the right side. Even just getting hits, they've tested left and center, now test the right fielder.
Now this one's popped up. It may stay in play. Mathewson's over to catcher lot, runs over, but Mathewson right at the dugout steps, makes a catch, stumbles in to the dugout a bit, and 2 are out quickly here in the bottom of the 5th.
7 outs away now are the Tigers from a loss. And they've only gone through the lineup twice. Here's Honegger's second at bat. Cuba's only batted once so far with 2 out. And unlike yesterday where the top of the order batted 5 times.
Honegger walked his last time up in the third and was out stealing. As we've talked about, Lott has a gun from behind the plate. Now ball gets away from the bullpen and into right field. So how about a 2-out rally? Honegger comes up and Cuba hits a home run. I'll settle for a 2-1 victory today.
Oh, I would too. Any win is possibly that you can get. Tigers right now are not into the game. They're not as revved up as yesterday.
This fastball starts him off inside, 1-0 the count, and she said too, not really the willingness, it seems today, to make the pitcher work as they have in the past.
Exactly. They played a lot like River Forest later in the game where they were swinging at first or second pitch all the time.
This time Honegger takes a strike, and it's 1-1 to count now. As we noted with the breaking ball, which is Harrison's bread and butter pitch so far, he's starting to miss a lot with it. This one outside corner, more like a fastball, not much, but he hit the corner with it, 1-2 to count.
But you have to credit Harrison. I mean, he's throwing strikes. He falls behind, but then he comes back and throws strikes.
The next one is low and borderline low, 2-2 to count. Honegger took it, and he still has a life. One at a time, boys. Let's go. And he hits this one in the right. It's curving towards the stands, and it'll get about 3 or 4 rows up. So Honegger stays alive once again.
I think everybody up here a little shocked. I see the Simeon faithful now really getting into the game. I think they did not expect to see this Tiger team that we're seeing in the semifinals. A little different one than what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, anybody who watched that game and watched the #1 team up here in Chicago Park get pounded 14-4 thought the offense might be able to come out, especially in this game, without Simeon's ace Turner going. But Harrison really throwing well, but now it's 3-2, full count on Honegger. He has walked 2. The next one, Honegger reaching for it, protecting that plate with 2 strikes, fouls it off to the right side.
We were reading the papers today about the heavily favored Edwardsville Tigers today. I think this may be, if it stands this way, the biggest upset in the playoffs of this year.
The next one, a Honegger, ball 4, and that's a start, a 2-out walk. And those 2-out walks, more than anything, seem to always somehow come back and haunt you. See if Harrison can get out of it. Corey Cuba now is up. He looks over to get some last-minute instructions. He was caught looking back in the third his first time up.
If nothing else, that gets the top of the order for next inning, but let's get a run here. Let's tie it up. Get some pressure off.
And the pitch swung on, driven deep to center field, but back is Brewer once again, and shy of the track, he hauls it in again. Once again, Todd, you talked about the win. As I look at the flag now, flags are not even moving at all, and Brewer makes it easy, and down go the Tigers. A 2-out walk is wasted, and after 5 innings of play, it is Chicago Simeon on top of the Edwardsville Tigers, 1-0. You're watching Tiger Baseball on ECTV, Channel 6.
Okay. In the top of the 6th, the Tigers are down, and that's right, they are down to Chicago Simeon, 1-0. And so far, Willie Harrison has thrown a no-hitter against the Tigers. Only 1 hit for Simeon, but 1 run, a costly error as both teams have made 1 error. Here in the top of the 6th, it's 8-9-1 as Hampson throws a breaking pitch in there for a strike to Michael Morris, the second baseman. He's 0 for 1 as he flew out to Evers at first. He was 2 for 2 yesterday. The 0-1 from Hampson, fastball missed high. 0-1. Now I'm Todd Zutti along with John Fitzgibbons, Gus Kodros. Glad to have you along here on ECTV. Tigers need some runs. 6 outs to go, and they have their first loss. We don't want to think about that. Changeup in there for a strike. When I woke up this morning, I felt good, and right now that feeling has somewhat started to leave. Winner awaiting Barrington as it swung and missed for the strikeout. That's the 6th, I think, or 7th for Hampson.
7 strikeouts.
8 strikeouts.
You're right.
We were both wrong. So, and to clarify that, the winner faces either Barrington or Tinley Park Andrew, because that game is played after this one. Here's Alan Raspberry, the 9th place hitter. He takes an off-speed pitch in there for strike one. He struck out in the 3rd.
Still like the way Hampson's throwing. As you said, only 1 hit, and really the air now and the balk. Excuse me. You seen the batter just get plunked in a helmet there. He's all right. That's Raspberry going to first, but the balk and then the double right after that, and that's been the only blemish against Hampson. But I still feel if they can just keep it here, keep it a 1-run game, somehow the Tigers will find a way to win.
Hit him in the head, and they're attending to Alan Raspberry. Unfortunate there because Hampson was ahead at 0-1. You don't want to hit somebody when the count's like that. Raspberry just a sophomore at 5'7". He's going to stay in the game. That brings up the top of the lineup. Dennis Butler 0 for 2 today with some speed. If I were them, I'd drop down a bunt and let my speed take over here with the runner at first and 1 out. What will we see with Hampson's move? Will it be a balk again? Or will he even decide to go over? No, he doesn't. Off speed, missed outside, and all day long, that's been a strike. 1 ball, no strikes. May have hooked around the plate. Off the stretch goes to first. The runner reads it, and no balk called that time. And the move seemed to be a little bit more readable, and I think he shortened up his move to first. On the 1-0, off the stretch. Swung and fouled back, tipped. The runner was moving on the play. A lot of speed for the Wolverines. That one would certainly have been stolen off the pitcher. I don't think James Hutton would have much of a chance to throw out Raspberry.
He was almost down to the second baseman where Honegger's playing at by the time that ball was fouled back to the screen.
Short lead at first. Hampson, a long leg kick. He goes to first. First base coach wanting a balk called. At least he shortened up the lead somewhat. We would have rather had that. In the 4th, no runs would have scored. Hampson throws, and that missed.
Where was that pitch at?
2-1. That's what I was thinking. That one looked to be right there on the corner.
It's easy to be an umpire from up here in this press box, I tell you.
Considering he has a better look than us, as Hampson again goes to first. And
first base coach is still saying, hey, that's what you called back in the other inning, balk, and now you're not calling it.
The 2-1. Hampson at the belt. Here it comes. Off speed. Called for a strike. Gets the inside strike, and a big one at that. 2-2 instead of what could have been 3-1. Butler has already struck out looking as Hampson goes to first just to keep an eye on the Wolverine runner, Raspberry. On deck then, the 2nd place hitter, the 3rd baseman, Gerald Brock. Brock 0 for 2, but he scored the lone run, and now we have a timeout called by Chicago Simeon. I want to get the signs squared away. You don't see this very often, that the 3rd base coach has to have both the batter and the runner come over.
2 strikes, you don't expect a bunt, but then again, I believe in the game yesterday we've seen a bunt with 2 strikes, so wouldn't it be beyond the question? You got to think if you're Simeon, the way your hurler Harrelson is throwing, if you can squeeze maybe one more run across, you probably like the position you're in with the 2-run lead with just 6 outs to go.
And your pitcher's thrown a no-hitter, and Junk Baller has got the job done today. The 2-2, swung and missed, and a big strikeout from Justin Hampson. You don't want 2 speedy guys on the bases with 1 out. That brings up Brock. Brock 0 for 2. He lined out very loopy fashion first time up to Bogle, and he also hit the other time in between Hopper. That was an error that direction. Scored the run on the double by Turner, and he was thrown out at 3rd. Fastball high, and you don't want to walk this batter with Turner on deck. He blasted one in the left center. He pitched yesterday's quarterfinal game a shutout, and they so far have thrown 10 shutout innings here at State. Turner yesterday, Harrison today. I think, what was it? Turner gave up 4 hits yesterday, none today. Missed inside, 2-0. Hampson has to throw some strikes now. Make Brock hit the baseball.
Actually, only 2 hits yesterday from my scorebook, which might not be totally correct, but he did walk a batter as well. There was an error, so 4 base runners altogether.
You're correct. Only 2 hits here at State. No runs through 10 innings. Shows bunt, ball 3. In danger now of first and second with the best hitter on the Wolverine Ball Club on deck. Turner today struck out the first time but doubled and was thrown in the relay to third trying to advance it.
Raspberry's taking a beating over there first base. First he got thumped in the helmet, and then on a tag, Evers stumped him in the helmet again.
There's a strike, a fastball right down the middle. Here in the top of the 6th, Tigers trail Simeon 1-0. 3-1 from Hampson. Fastball down the middle and swung right back off the face mask of the home plate umpire. Count is full and just keep throwing the heater. Throw some strikes here, whatever you can get over for a strike. The game line is for Simeon, 1 run on 1 hit. They've committed an error. Edwardsville, no hits, no runs, 1 error. Who would have thought that today? The 3-2, Hampson gets the strikeout, swung and a miss. Brock goes down, swinging 3 strikeouts in the inning. The 9th for Hampson as he comes back after falling behind 3-0. We're going to the bottom of the 6th, and the Tiger bats, let's get going here. We need some momentum. Get some runners on base.
Justin Hampson come back. First to Butler. 2-strike pitch, threw him the fastball, and now he comes back, as you said, down 3-0. 3 straight fastballs to Brock, and he's throwing hard, still throwing good. He did not want to face Turner with 2 runners on.
There have only been 3 base runners for Chicago Simeon, and the Tigers only have 3 as well, or 4 rather, on an error and 3 walks. Tigers have left 3 on. Simeon just 2, or rather 1. That was the first they've left on base because Turner was thrown out at third. Back to the hill is Willie Harrison, who's thrown a no-hitter through 5 against the Tigers, who wrapped out 18 hits yesterday against the #1 team in Chicago. Simeon wanting to have something to say about that. They are 34-7 on the year. Tigers 38-0 and 6 outs away from their first loss. James Hutton going back to the Tiger bullpen. We have up the top of the order here in the 6th, Carruthers, Bogle, Opal. That sounds like at least 2 or 3 runs to me. Let's get it. Get some runs here, about 2 or 3, at least 2, and have 3 outs in a row. Sounds good to me. We have our ECTV hats on, and we're rallying here at Elfstrom Stadium with Dave Carruthers. 0 for 2 today. He reached on an error in the 3rd and flew out to center. Came in hitting .492. Now he's 12 for 22 in the playoffs. Harrison off the line. As
Carruthers not giving up. Edwardsville crowd still clapping and cheering. He said, more Edwardsville Tiger fans here than Simeon fans. And
makes me wonder why you don't do that throughout the course of the entire game. Just when it looks like you're in trouble, as Carruthers takes ball 1, and the home plate umpire's strike zone has started to get smaller, and I'd like to see it even get more smaller as this inning progresses. On the 1-0, inside ball 2, and Carruthers now should be taking. With 2 balls and up on the board, it's 1-1, but I think it's 2 balls, no strikes.
I believe that is the count as well.
We'll call it 2-0 until we get some confirmation as Harrison off the line. The pitch. Swung and missed. Carruthers was swinging. As Tom Pyle wants Carruthers' attention. At the plate, off the line again. Swung and grounded off. Now there's 2 strikes on Carruthers, and there must have been 2 strikes on him because that's a pitch that looked outside to me. at least borderline, and a pitch that's 2-1 you don't want to take a swing at. In the dirt.
That first one was a strike. He must have called it late because I was watching and he never made any signal. The home plate umpire I'm talking about.
No, it's 3-2. So it was 2-0 at one point. Carruthers had chased ball 3. Here it comes on the full count pitch. Carruthers takes ball 4. That's a great way to start the 6th. Let's see if the Tigers start to play little ball with Bogle at the plate. You've got to make somebody field it now. You need to move somebody in scoring position. The Tigers still without a hit. They have 4 walks, though, given up by the Wolverine pitcher, Willie Harrison. Strategy comes into play here.
I would love to see a bunt here. As you said, make him field it. So far, just about all the outs have been the outfielders, and already here comes Wolverines coach, and let's see if they maybe want to make a pitching change right here. Unbelievable, almost a no-hitter, and thinking about taking out the pitcher. Well, we've seen someone warming up earlier.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's just strategy time. Making sure of who's covering what, because he didn't even look to the bullpen. Right now, no activity, but you're right. They were having some players warm up for a while, and that was Lawrence Washington that we last saw in the bullpen. Washington, a 6'1" sophomore as well. So a lot of young players. They only have 4 that start. Just checking, Turner is a junior as well at 6'3", their pitcher, so they should have a good returning ball club next year.
Just making a note again that breaking ball seems to be missing more and more, dipping low, and almost looked like Carruthers read it coming from the hand right away, that he knew it was going to drip low as soon as he seen it coming.
As you saw, that's ball 1. Brock was on the grass at third. He charged in. Bogle showed bunt. Bogle 0 for 1 today. He also walked in the 4th, flew out to center in the 1st. Brewer with tremendous speed out in center, as well as David Blackman in left. Made some tremendous play. Shows bunt, gets it down right side. A play at second if they go that direction. Instead, the first is an error on the plate. We have first and second, nobody out, and something going. They're in the bottom of the 6th. I don't know who that error is going to be on, but it will be an error. I would think it'll be on the first baseman. He should have had that one.
Yeah, E3 is the way I would score it as well. It looked like it was there. Good throw, just popped right out of his mitt.
I guess you call that a sacrifice and an error. We'll call it E1 up here until we hear later. So it's Carruthers at second, Bogle at first. Without the benefit of hit, here's the heart of the Tiger lineup. Chad Opel, 0 for 2. He's flown out to center and to left. And a good play by Blackman. And now Demetrius Lott, the catcher, wants to talk about things. More conference, I think that's the case. He would be done, as they've come to talk to him a bunch of times today. Lott trying to designate what's going on. Let's play ball here, says the home plate umpire. And if you can get them down today and get some rallies, the Tigers could come back down 1 here, bottom of the 6th.
Well, the way I look at it is we're 3 outs away from going to the state title game, because you score a run, 2 runs here, and Hampson comes down and shuts him down in the 7th, and we're playing at 7 o'clock tonight.
They're going to have their heart of the order when we come back. Opel shows bunt. It goes off the head of Lott, and Carruthers is going to stay right there. Good, wise move. Lott with the cannon and some speed behind home. I think that was ball 1. Opel showed bunt. I'm not sure if he got it back in time. Some lapses now for Chicago Simeon. 1-0 to Chad Opel, who showed bunt last time. We bunt him over here. You give 4 and 5 in your lineup a chance to take the lead with a hit. Shows bunt. Pops it up. That's going to go foul. Lott with some speed got out of the box quickly. You're going to have to make sure your bunt is in good position with Lott. Carruthers better get a jump off of second. The count 1 ball, 1 strike. Opel, not good fundamentals there, John, on the bunt. He jabbed at it.
I'd like to see him try to lay it down the right field line, too, just to make the throw in case Lott does go to third a little bit more further and across his body, instead of with him charging down the third base line. His momentum's going that way. It might make it a little bit easier to play for.
And he threw it into center field. Carruthers is going to move up. Bogle digging for second. You don't even have to bunt him up. You have runners with a chance for the lead, and they throw it away again. An error from the pitcher, I would assume. Nobody covering. That's unfortunate. A play was on, and it's unraveling for the Wolverines here with Washington in the bullpen, warming up again. Opal 3 and 4, then with Seibert and Evers, your best 3 power hitters at the plate. Sac fly would tie with nobody out on the benefit of a walk and an error, and then a throwing error. We have second and third with nobody out. Chad Opal with a 1-1 count.
And Opal was flied out twice today. Even a sacrifice fly would look good here. At least tie the game, push one across. Starting to look right for the Tigers.
A 1-1. Harrison brings it. Opal, base hit, the first of the game. We're tied at 1. Vogel being waved in. They're going to test the arm, and the Tigers have the lead. The first lead of the ballgame. Good play by Chad Opal to get in scoring position. The first hit scores 2 runs, and we're 3 outs away now from advancing to the state championship game. The Tigers never quit. That's the motto all year long. A team that always keeps on pumping. I remember being down 7-2 to Belleville East after 2. Came back to win 14-10. They've been down many times this year and have rallied back.
And they were down 4-1 going into the 5th as well yesterday when they came storming back.
So we're not done here. Let's get a bunch and grab this ball game. Seibert at the plate. Opal now 1 for 3. Seibert 0 for 2 today. Opal with 42 RBIs now to lead the club with Evers on deck. Those 3 have had an RBI battle all year long as they've interchanged. Seibert hits it right side down the line, giving chase Raspberry. That's over his head. That's off the wall and in fair territory. We're up now 3-1. Seibert digging for second. He stops there. Up 3-1.
There we go. We talked about it earlier. The Tigers all year going to right this time. It is Seibert, kind of just goes with the pitch, nails it, just dropped it inside fair in that corner. At first I thought it was foul the way it hit. Took a funny hop right up against the wall. Did drop fair according to the umpires, and 3-1 and still nobody out with the runner at second base.
You can't tell from here because the line's really not painted. It's kind of a grass line where they cut it different one direction and different the next. From our angle, we can't see a line out and right. I just looked for the umpire. I saw it was down, and for a while I thought it was going to be out of here as it kept going and going. I thought it was looped more than what it ended up being. Runner at second. Tigers up 3-1. Here's Matt Evers. Evers 0 for 1 today, 41 RBI, 6 home runs, hit the big one yesterday, came in hitting .417. In the playoffs, he's 8 for 19. Seibert at second after the double that scored Opal. Here it comes, off speed and outside, and I think the Tigers have finally got it into Willie Harrison as he struggled, and you can tell his dejection now at the pitcher's mound.
I think it's the rally caps.
The rally caps worked. You put them on, and it has certainly worked here with 3 runs in the 6th. Harrison delivers fastball outside corner for the strike.
But as good as we've been talking about it all state, last year 2-1 loss in the sectional finals. This year the bats have been the story, and you were a little worried going through 5 innings, but now they're coming to life.
Ball 2. Seibert hustles back to second. He's getting a nice long lead over to third. He's at least a third of the way to third on the throw home. 2-1, the count in Evers' favor. He can look for something to drive to the gap. He deals outside corner for another strike on the fastball, and Evers has to now shorten up and go right side if Harrison stays that direction. Next, Tinley Park Andrew against Barrington for the right to go to the state championship game. Right now, it looks like that could be against the Tigers. Up 3-1, the count full to Matt Evers.
And a big key play in this inning was a throwing error the pitcher committed into center field when the shortstop did not cover.
Ground ball left side. That's through the whole base hit. Seibert had to read it. He'll probably stop at third, and he will. Blackman, long throw over the head of the catcher, and now Evers takes second. Good base running. You missed the cutoff man. The Tigers are going to burn you all day long. They did that a couple times in the 5th and in the 6th inning yesterday to Oak Park River Forest, taking extra bases. And now a hit by James Hutton, and we could be up 5-1.
Finishing up what I was saying, you think, why is the throw in the second or center field a key play, but really Opal had been trying to bunt, so if you leave runners at first and second, he's going to bunt, sacrifice himself. That's one out, second and third. Then you have a chance maybe to limit it, but now when the throw went into center field, that moved up the runners, let Opal swing away, and he came through with the big base hit. Not only that, but when the runners were at second and third, the infield had to play in, and that ball went by the third baseman, who was in on the grass. Just a normal ball that might have been to the third baseman had he not been in.
You're right, and I think in baseball you can pinpoint the key plays more than any other sport because of not as many runs being scored. And yesterday was Evers' grand slam. Today, you're right, I think it's the throw in center field that's broken open the game, and I think it's demoralized Chicago Simeon. And now pitching for Simeon is Lawrence Washington, a 6'1 sophomore, so that closes the book on a Willie Harrison, the 5'10 sophomore, who threw a gem. Up until the 6th, he had a no-hitter. Now he's given up 3.
2 big errors in the inning opened the door, really.
Yeah, the
leadoff walk kills you, and then the 2 big errors, and that's been the story more than the Edwardsville bats today.
Oh, exactly. The pitching, one of the better stories is they played good defense other than the error that cost the Tigers their run, but Chicago Simeon is falling apart as far as errors. The Tigers, 3 runs on 3 hits. They've committed that 1 error. Chicago Simeon, 1 run, 1 hit, 3 errors. 2 of those this inning.
And Hampson, let's not forget, after the shaky outing he had in his 2 innings yesterday, he's come back in and did a good job all through the time. Instead of pitchers could get frustrated, you know, you're thinking, man, I'm throwing a good game, only gave up 1 hit. Unfortunately, they scored a run on the error the Tigers committed. Unlike the Tigers, instead of getting frustrated, he puts his head down, starts throwing hard, still getting them out, kept his team close, and this is how he's going to be rewarded, hopefully, with the victory.
That was 5 walks for Harrison on the day. He struck out no Tigers. He'll be the losing pitcher. Willie Harrison, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, or 5 walks rather, no strikeouts. 3 runs scored. No wild pitches, and here's Lawrence Washington facing James Hutton. He hits a ground ball over to Butler. The runner trying to score, and now he's going to run at him and throw to the plate. Evers at third. They're going to move the runner up, so with 1 out, it's going to be second and third. They thought that he would probably try to throw to first instead of home, and Dennis Butler did a good job of running the play home and then throwing an accurate throw to Lott.
Yeah, that's a good play by the Wolverines, because down 3-1 with only 3 outs left to go, you got to keep every run off the board you can. So now they got the infield in again with only 1 out.
But watch that. Watch it. James Hutton, he was hustled all the way to second. You want to get your runners back at second and third, and the Tigers very good at doing that. Turner takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Turner 0 for 2 today. Flew out to left and flew out to second. Infield drawn in, as John said. Need Matt Turner to bust loose. He's had some key hits this season. He struggled in the playoffs. Pitched low for ball 2, 2-0. To be exact, he's 2 for 15 in the playoffs, and we'd like to see him get rolling here. At Granite City game, he busted open that one. The 2-0 to Turner. Ball 3. Lott fakes the throw down to third. Evers over there. Hutton at second. Tigers up 3-1 here. Bottom of the 6th. The 1 out. 3 outs away from the state championship game for the 3rd time in Pile's history. A chance to go to that game. He's 1 for 1. In the state championship game, Turner takes strike 1 on the fastball from Washington. 1 in 90, lost in 91.
Turner, one of the few Tigers yesterday not to get a hit in the ball game.
Turner lost it up. That may get down in shallow left field. Coming on is Blackman. He gets the catch, and too shallow for the run to score. So with second and third with nobody out now, it's stayed that way without a run being scored. It's second and third with 2 out. Here's Andrew Honiger. Honiger walked twice today. Harrison had problems throwing to the little second baseman for the Tigers. May see Hansel as Honiger is stopped there. And I think we will. Tim Hansel now at the plate for the Tigers against Washington. Hansel now 2 for 4 in the playoffs. He was 1 for 1 and drove in a run yesterday. left-handed batter. Just a junior. You'll see him play a lot more next year.
I'll be interested to see how Simeon wants to play this one out. 2 outs. You think left-handed batter, if you've not watched the Tigers all year, which Chicago Simeon obviously is not, you might shade him more towards right, but Hansel's one that likes to slap the ball in the left field.
Hits a lot like I did. That's exactly where I hit the ball when I played, was to left field, and he's reminded me of myself. He's 5'10", 140 pounds. Is Tim Hansel, a junior. 2 of his last 2 in the playoffs. The first pitch, a fastball high for ball 1.
He had a big pinch hit yesterday as well.
Hit it between third and short, a huge hole all day long, and Hansel burned it, and finally some other Tigers did as well. Hansel calls timeout. It's to make Lawrence Washington think about things. On deck, Corey Kuba, Edwardsville right fielder. Off the wind, he deals to the plate for ball 2.
If Washington can come in and get him out of this jam with no more further damage done, Simeon has the heart of the lineup up with Turner, who drove in the only run for Simeon.
But now, fortunately, he can't win the game with a home run or anything like that. They have some other bats, though, that have hit the ball hard. 3-0 to Hansel. He throws down the third, gets away. Ever's not sure where it's at. He's being waved in. The throw from Blackman going to be not in time, and the Tigers, with another error by Simeon, score the 4th run of the game. I don't think Tom Pyle is going to be pleased with this Tiger effort, though, in the semifinal game. Odd ways to score some runs. The Tigers are going to have to step it up, either when they get the chance to face Barrington or Tinley Park Andrew. Who would you call that error on?
That's tough. I'm glad I'm at the official score of this game because it certainly looked catchable.
I thought maybe on the catcher, just for that simple reason, as Hansel walks on 4 straight pitches. And I thought it was 1, maybe 2, but I guess with Evers arriving at the same time, you call that on the catcher.
I was going to say, kind of looked like Brock got tangled up with Evers diving back in, and almost looked like he went down on his knees and couldn't reach back across, but it was definitely glove level. Just didn't get the glove out in time, and in the right field it went.
You were facing the horse on the Tigers, 6'1", 205-pound Matt Evers, the biggest, as Kuba grounds it left side. The only play there by Butler, who flips the first long throw, and a good play by Dennis Butler, but the game has changed here in the bottom of the 6th. The Tigers now, for the first time, have the lead. They're up by 3 right now. Through 6 innings, 3 outs away from a state championship game. It's Tigers 4, Chicago Simeon 1. You're watching state semifinal action on ECTV Channel 6. In the top of the 7th rather, in the 7th inning, Tigers 3 outs away from the state championship game, leading Chicago Simeon 4-1. And up is the heart of the lineup for the Wolverines. It's Justin Turner, Anthony Brewer, and Demetrius Lott, 3, 4, and 5 in their lineup. Turner has already driven in 1 run today with a gap shot, a double, and then he was thrown out at third trying to advance it. Tigers 7-6-5 put out there. Very fortunate, up 3 runs with Turner at the plate. He can't break open the game, John.
Yep, and that's big key. 1 big inning is all it takes, and that is what the Tigers are looking for to cruise on into the championship game tonight.
First pitch from Hampson down the middle, fastball for a strike, and he's thrown at least 6 innings, and I would think he will be washed out for tonight's game after throwing 2 yesterday. Expect the Hutton brothers, I would think, to be the Tigers pitchers tonight. 0-2 to Turner as he takes 2 pitches. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I almost definitely expect to see James Hutton, or probably a little tag team, maybe a few innings here or there from...
Swung and missed for strikeout. Number 10 in the game for Justin Hampson. Down goes Turner, a big out, but I think you're right. Maybe even Grotefin and Seibert. Those 2 could be ready. But I think it'll be tag team, as you mentioned, that we may see both. James Hutton may start. That would mean Joe Fisher will catch for the Tigers. Here's Anthony Brewer, 0 for 2. He struck out and flown out today. Takes strike 1. 4 pitches, 4 strikes here in the 7th. Hampson feeling it now, 2 outs away from the state championship game. On the 0-1, Hampson fastball missed low. Tiger faithful. Hooping it up there on the left side. Hope to see a lot of Tiger fans here tonight. Swung and missed. A changeup. Pulled the string on Brewer. Tinley Park, Andrew, or Barrington. That game next. Swung and missed for another strikeout. A changeup. 1 out away. And the Tigers going, and it looks like they'll be moving on. I want to see some Tiger fans here tonight. This could be our last broadcast of the year, unless they get a huge rally. Chicago Simeon here with 2 out in the top of the 7th, down 3. We will be here to watch, though, the state championship game. Number 5 in the order, Demetrius Lott, 0 for 2 today, but he lined out hard to Chad Opal his last time. Also grounded out to Matt Evers at first. He's the catcher. First pitch, fastball looped in the right field. Coming on is Corey Kuba near the line, still racing for dives and can't make the play, but what a terrific effort as it's foul. Great effort by Corey Kuba, the right fielder. Hopefully he's not shaken up as he gets up from it.
He kind of hit, right as he dove, he kind of hit where the grass turns into the cinder, almost track-like rocks down there. Maybe a little bit of a strawberry, but he's all right. Quick game today, too, as well, as you would expect, with only 4 hits in the entire game, but 4 big errors have cost the Wolverines today.
Tiger production, they got to all of them in 1 inning, 2 in the 6th. Yesterday the 5th, today the 6th. Hampson, ground ball right side. That's through the whole base hit as Hansel can't come up with the play. Kuba will bring it in. So with 2 outs, still life for the Wolverines. First hit for Lott, and just the 2nd for Chicago Simeon today. That brings up David Blackman, who's been overpowered, struck out looking and struck out swinging. Seibert being shifted towards left center. This is the batter that outside corner has really hurt the Wolverine left fielder. Change-ups, fastballs last time. Started out with 2 fastballs and then went to the change on the corner for the strikeout. Shows bunt. He'll pull it back, takes ball 1 low.
He don't even look comfortable up there in the batter's box facing Justin Hampson.
Make him hit the ball now. No walks or errors here. He deals. There's a strike inside corner. Evens up the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bogle on the grass at third. Seibert shallow and left. Otherwise, outfield straight away as far as depth. Carruthers placed more towards right center. Middle infield plays up the middle as Hampson goes to first. The runner was caught looking there as Evers made a great job of lunging for the ball.
Sleeping over there was Lott, and he didn't even react until the ball was already out of Hampson's hand and just did get back, at least according to the first base umpire.
The pitch misses outside and high, 2-1. And I think still wanting the balk call. There's been 1 call today, but since then Hampson has gone away at least with that. Set at the belt, he deals. And that's in there for strike 2. 1 strike away now, 2-2.
Blackman was jumping away from that one, and it was right on the inside corner.
He crowds the plate with his body. Leans back also. Tiger faithful standing here with 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes from Hampson, changeup. It hit him first and second, and now a home run with Ty. That brings up Lawrence Matthews, the first baseman. He's a big kid. He's 0 for 2 today. Matthews, 6'3", lanky first baseman. Why'd I even bring that up? I don't even want to think about that.
That was a changeup Hampson tried to throw and got away from him. I'd have much rather like to see him close that out with a fastball right on the outside corner. I don't think Blackman was going to touch it.
I don't either. I think you're right. I would have rather seen the fastball, but changeups can get away from you, and it did from Hampson. With 2 strikes, you don't want to allow the tying run to come to the plate, and that's it, I think, maybe for Justin Hampson. Tom Pyle out to the mound, but no activity in the bullpen. And it will be at James Hutton now.
Has just
will be
the
switching. Expect Joe Fisher to come behind the plate, and what's that going to do for tonight? I guess not much.
Yeah, it's only 1/3 of an inning is all he's going to have to throw, hopefully, knock on wood. But
Hampson wanted to close it out. I'm sure the frustration of the Tiger faithful. Standing ovation to the senior left-hander. And they want to congratulate him as well. Tiger team comes out in a line. He did the work today. He's can only pick up win number 7 this year for the Tigers. As the outfield now will want to talk as well as the infield. Tigers still 1 out away from advancing, but a rally by the Wolverines. They had 2 out, nobody on. It's now 1st and 2nd. Tying run at the plate.
Hampson can be the winner, cannot be the loser, as you said. 6-0, trying to look for win number 7. Hutton in to save it.
11 strikeouts also for Hampson in the game.
He was his old dominating self as we seen him back in the Altons. And when we played in Gordemar Park against Triad, I believe that was. He was dominating, but he barely had trouble closing that game out. It was in the 7th inning of work. He gave up a walk and a single before he finally was able to get out of that one. This one a little bit more important of a game. I don't think you want to, well, I guess that one was too, but.
Yeah, all important, I think, up here. But yeah, I think you're right. And the point I know is there. You want to close it out here. And one stat that pretty much eluded me here today as we go through it, 6 2/3 innings for Hampson, 2 hits, struck out 11. And here's the stat. He walked no one today. He did hit 2 batters, allowed 1 run, but the error helped in that cause, and then the double. But he walked 3 yesterday. And shaky control at times today. Very good control, other than at times hitting batters.
That's what we said. Waldo was down there talking to him before the game. Just throw strikes, I'm sure is what he told him. You got a good defense behind you. They committed 1 error today, but as you said, their first error in these playoffs. So when you let them hit the ball, don't walk them, you're going to come out on top more times than not.
So Joe Fisher now the catcher for the Tigers with James Hutton on the hill. Fisher, 5'10", 190-pound senior. Getting James Hutton's stats. He's 7-0 on the year, 52 innings pitched. He's given up 41 hits, 8 earned runs, walked 8, struck out 35 with a 0.98 ERA. Number 3 on the Tiger rotation. We may see him tonight off the stretch. The first pitch, a fastball in there for strike 1.
So you might probably expect him to be the starter tonight. So he comes in, he could have himself a save and a victory up here in one day.
Be nice to see. I'd love to see that. That'd mean a state title for the Tigers. The 0-1 pitch off the stretch. He looks and rolls to second, fakes the throw.
This would qualify for a save as well, I believe, because there's the tying run at the plate.
Exactly. Right-hander rather on right-hander. The 0-1 from Hutton. There's a base hit right side. Cuba cuts it off. A relay throw as the runner is stopped. Bases loaded now. The tying run at first. Home run could give them the lead. Here with the bottom of the order, here's Michael Morris, the number 8 hitter. So Hutton greeted with a solid base hit to the right side. Fisher wants to come out and talk to James Hutton. They're not done yet.
Just the 3rd base hit of the day. That matches what the Tigers have done.
You think they'll try to come in behind the runner first and try to pick him up here in this jam in the top of the 7th? That's something the Tigers like to do, play Evers behind the runner, bring him in.
Michael Morris has not hit the ball out of the infield. He popped up to the second baseman, Honiger, which is now Hansel in at second base, and struck out. So I'd like to see him just come after him with fastballs.
I would too, and although Morris is 2 for 2 yesterday, he did drive in a run. He scored 2 runs. Pinch runner. Actually, no pinch runner. He was switching gloves, I guess, with Matthews, who's the key runner right now. You want to keep him away from second base. Better than that, let's get a run here, or an out here.
It's already been prolonged more than what we would have liked it to be. Coming in the way Hampson was throwing, hadn't allowed a hit since that 4th inning when Turner hit the double off him to score their only run, and now things have gotten a little bit shaky and well in doubt here in this top of the 7th inning.
And now we're going to have a pinch hitter if You can see over there near the bullpen, number 46 is Cornelius Johnson. He's 6'3", and he is a big boy. He must have some power. It looks to be all or nothing for Chicago Simeon, and 2 outs here, and 3 batters ago it looked great for the Tigers. Now it's looking kind of iffy. Big boy at the plate with looks like could have some power. Johnson.
We did not see him come in yesterday, but 10-0. I guess they save him for some power off the bench. Unfortunately, we don't have stats on any of these players, but you're right. He looks like he might be able to hit.
He's athletic looking as well, and unfortunately, I would have rather seen Michael Morris at the plate. Again, off the stretch, Hutton, bases full, 2 out, top of the 7th. Tigers up 4-1. The first pitch swung and missed, off speed. As Hutton took something off of it. He gets ahead. I would like to see a ground ball hit somewhere for the Tigers can scoop up and pick this one up. I don't want to see a ball drilled anywhere. On the 0-1. Hutton gets the sign from Fisher as it's relayed from the dugout. Opal comes in behind the runner at second. The pitch blocked by Fisher. Nice job there by Joe Fisher. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Like to see that confidence from Hutton come in there and throw the off-speed pitch. Guy's just fresh into the game, coming in a pinch hit, probably looking fastball, especially with the bases loaded, and he fools him with the changeup.
Joe Fisher's a good backstop, it's just not as quick from back there as Hutton. Fastball in there for strike 2, and again 1 strike away from the championship game. The Tigers have 1 and 2, and now Mike Waldo is going to want to talk things over. A 1 and 2, Waldo making sure he can come out there. I'm surprised after 2 straight strikes, or actually after throwing 2 strikes. I don't think they were straight. The first pitch was a strike, but I'm surprised here. Hutton was getting some momentum there. I guess they want to be clear of things, and I guess better that way.
I was thinking maybe they got crossed up on a sign, as you said often before, that they call the pitches from the Tigers dugout. I thought maybe they seen a pitch that shouldn't have been called as a fastball right down the middle. I'm sure that's not exactly the pitch. However, it did get by the pinch hitter.
Again, the Tigers fans are up on the left side, awaiting this victory. If they can get this out with the 1 and 2, here it comes. Hutton just missed low. A fastball, and Johnson there was bending over, hoping that it wasn't called. Strike 3. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hutton comes set and fires. Here it is. Swung right side and fouled up right in the Simeon faithful. A hard line drive.
He stayed on top of that one and just got a piece of it, staying alive. This is not over yet.
Mike Waldo wanting to know location, and Fisher said right down the middle. One better location here. Want to set up inside. They do on the 2-2. Hutton steps off. Saw Fisher very quickly setting up inside. He's going to go that direction again. Here it comes. Hutton deals. Fastball swung and missed, and there it is. And it got away from Fisher. So, and it is an out. He just steps on the plate for the out. You have to. With bases loaded, it's an out. And dangerous there for a while. There's bases loaded. That should be an out anyway.
They say with the runner on first base, and they dropped the ball, it don't matter. It's still an out.
The Tigers win. They're 39-0. Simeon falls to 34-8, but a great effort from the Wolverines. They never gave up in this one, as seen here in the top of the 7th. The Tigers advance to the state championship game, either against Barrington, team that is on the year 33-8, or Tinley Park Andrew 34-3. That game played right after this one. So the Tigers will go back to that game for the 3rd time under Tom Pyle, awaiting their 2nd state championship or their second place finish. That game at 7 o'clock. You'll see that one on Fox Sports Midwest, I believe.
Fox Sports Chicago.
Fox Sports Chicago.
I believe it should be picked up in the Edwardsville area.
I think on Channel 3 is always where that is in Edwardsville. So Fox Sports Chicago. Check that one at 7 o'clock, although this is taped late, so you already have seen it. We will not broadcast it. We'll be back to recap this one. The Tigers do win 4-1. You're watching Tiger Baseball on ECTV Channel 6. Back at Elfstrom Stadium in Geneva, and a very happy Tiger crowd again for day number 2 here in Geneva. The Tigers win 4-1. They scored 4 runs on 3 hits. They committed 1 error. The Tigers left 5 on base. Chicago Simeon scored 1 run on 2 hits, I believe it was. 3 hits, rather, for Simeon. 4 errors for them. They left 4 on base and 3 in that last inning in a wild game, a surprise for us, John.
Yeah, it was. We were talking on the way over here, probably being a little bit of homers, as you might expect, following the Tigers for most of the year. But we were talking about it. We expected not as close of a game from Edwardsville. One of the main surprising things, we talked about the surprise was the power in the hitting yesterday. Well, the lack of hitting today, a big surprise.
And hopefully they have the same bats they used yesterday for the night game. Hopefully playing later in the day other than the early morning game will give some life. And if you can't get up for the state championship game, though, you shouldn't be here. And I think they will. I hope they come out and smoke. And they're going to face a good pitcher either from Barrington or Tinley Park. Andrew, either way. But the Tigers a chance to win state championship number 2 or end up second for the second time in Pyle's career. And we wonder what will happen as far as Tom Pyle and if he will retire at the end of the year. We're hearing rumors that that could be the case. We'll find out, though, obviously somewhere during the summer, I would think.
If he does, though, what a better way to send him out than as a winner of state. I'm sure that'd be a great storybook. The Hall of Fame coach. Terrific 18 seasons here at Edwardsville. Unbelievable record. And he beat a good coach yesterday in Kaiser, and now another tough game today.
So the Tigers do win this one 4-1. Hope to see a lot of Tigers here tonight at 7 o'clock and a chance for a state championship. For my partner, John Fitzgibbons and Gus Kodros, always on the cameras, doing a great job for us to catch the action. I'm Todd Zutti. Again, the Tigers in the state semifinal game defeat Chicago Simeon 4-1. You've been watching Tiger Baseball on ECTV Channel 6.